In the next 7 days, you're either building a calmer, more confident dog, or accidentally training clinginess and stress without realizing it. Most dog owners have no idea they're doing it. This video will show you the 5-step way to decode the bathroom following habit and respond so your dog feels safe without becoming dependent. Your dog following you to the bathroom is not just a funny quirk. It can be a signal you are reinforcing anxiety or attention seeking on autopilot. Veterinary behaviorists often frame it simply: you get more of what you reinforce. Research on attachment and proximity seeking in domestic dogs has found that you become a moving source of safety and information, so your dog tracks you to reduce uncertainty. And mild separation-related distress can show up as constant following long before you see obvious barking, destruction, or accidents. So what is your dog really asking for? If your dog follows the moment you stand up, you are looking at attention and routine. If your dog follows hardest when you close doors, you are looking at barrier frustration or separation sensitivity. If your dog follows more when you are tense, you are looking at social referencing, where your dog uses you to decide if things are safe, what to do. Sort it into one of 3 buckets: security, attention, or habit, before you try to fix it. Which bucket is yours? You do not diagnose this by one behavior. Applied animal behavior experts often look at intensity, duration, and recovery time, because those 3 tell you what your dog is feeling. Research on separation-related behavior has found that distress is less about following and more about an inability to settle when alone, plus exaggerated responses to departure cues. Research on reinforcement learning also shows that intermittent reinforcement, sometimes you pet, sometimes you talk, sometimes you ignore, can make following more persistent, because your dog keeps trying the slot machine. Here is your 2-question test. First, when you close the bathroom door, does your dog settle within a minute, or escalate into scratching, whining, pacing, or scanning? Second, when you come out, does your dog recover quickly, or stay stuck and hyper-attached? If your dog settles fast and resets fast, you are likely dealing with habit or a mild preference. If your dog escalates and cannot recover, you may be seeing separation sensitivity that needs a plan. What to do? Write down your answers for 3 days, because patterns matter more than one moment. Now that you know what you're dealing with, you can respond without accidentally paying the behavior. Comforting at the wrong moment can feel kind. It can also train your dog that hovering is the fastest path to your attention. Modern training is blunt about this. Behaviors followed by attention tend to increase. Clinical guidance also points to predictable, calm routines lowering arousal, which makes settling easier to learn. And you need to remember that attention is a powerful reinforcer for many dogs. Even tiny things like eye contact, a sigh, or you saying their name. What to do? Before you walk to the bathroom, cue an alternative that pays better than shadowing. Send your dog to a mat or bed, then reward that position away from the doorway. If you cannot train a cue yet, manage it. Toss a small treat scatter in a safe area, or hand your dog a short-lasting chew before you move. At the door, keep your body language neutral. You do not need big announcements. You do not need dramatic exits. When you return, reward calm, not crowding. You wait for 4 paws on the floor and a soft body, then you give attention. If your dog only follows at night, you pair that routine with one consistent settle spot. If your dog follows only you and not others, you are the primary reinforcer, so your consistency matters most. Here's how you do it. You teach independence in tiny, safe doses. Your dog is not trying to control you. Your dog is trying to control uncertainty, because uncertainty feels unsafe. Veterinary behaviorists often use behavior modification that looks boring on purpose. Gradual exposure below the panic threshold, paired with good outcomes. Research on habituation and desensitization shows that small, successful repetitions can change an emotional response over time, not just suppress a behavior. What to do? Start with micro separations. You step behind a door for 5 to 10 seconds while your dog has a chew or food puzzle. You return before any escalation starts. You repeat until your dog stays loose, breathing normally, and staying engaged. Then you increase duration slowly. You vary the pattern so your dog does not brace for a countdown. You practice in multiple rooms so the bathroom is not the only context your dog can handle. What if your dog follows anyway? You do not punish. You reset, and you make the next repetition easier. If your dog abandons the chew the moment you move, you are going too fast. If your dog can finish the chew, you are in the learning zone. But what if your dog follows because they are worried about your safety? That is step 5. When clinginess changes suddenly, you take it seriously. Veterinarians and behavior professionals often recommend ruling out health and stress contributors first, because behavior is sometimes a symptom. Common clinical guidance is that sudden increases in shadowing can be linked to pain, sensory decline, or gastrointestinal discomfort, especially in older dogs. Research on canine stress and predictability also suggests dogs cope better when daily needs are met consistently: exercise, enrichment, rest, and a stable routine. What to do? If your dog is security driven, you increase predictable alone time practice and you build a safe station like a mat, or a crate only if it is already positively trained. If your dog is attention driven, you schedule intentional connection, short training sessions, sniff walks, and calm petting on your terms, so your dog does not have to chase you for it. If your dog is habit driven, you change the routine and reinforce staying put. If the behavior is new, intense, or paired with panic signs, you consult a veterinarian or a credentialed behavior professional. You can be kind and consistent at the same time. Now, put all 5 steps together. You identify the real need, run the 2-question test, change what you reinforce at the door, build independence with micro separations, and meet the underlying need with security, enrichment, or a medical check. That is how you turn bathroom shadowing into a calmer dog who can relax without you. Because you trained the feeling, not just the behavior.